to extend a very warm welcome once again to.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I request you please, people of Mr. Santana, past chairman. ESG Summit is very important and Karnataka is really taking a leading position. It is now an integral part of a boardroom discussions across profitability bottom lines. Coming from the tech is core to our strategy and it remains center of our strategy and driven across the three dimensions.
Thank you so much for inviting me today. It's a great pleasure, and especially being in Tamil Nadu as well, and also other places. And I'm always amazed with the outlook and the progress towards corporate environment as well. Just to introduce myself a little bit more of what I do, because there are some things that I do in my consultancy, but also some things that I'm very proud of, being a foreigner in India. My consultancy, I started my consultancy a couple of years ago, and I did that because I actually worked with workplace strategies all over Asia Pacific. Previously, when I lived in China, I've been now 6 years in India. I worked first in Mumbai, then in Delhi, and now here in Bangalore.
Sustainable energy production practices that minimize environmental harm. Control Board encouraging companies to go green contributed significantly to the state's economy. Karnataka also dynamic and progressive state in India. Karnataka contributed around 8.2% and IT, but also positioning itself as a leader in green technology and environmental compliance. As ESG investors seek to align profits with sustainability, Bengaluru is emerging as a prime destination for green technology, energy saving. These investments align with the global ESG and sustainable growth. Karnataka has emerged as a leader in the sustainable growth and future tech manufacturing. The state has consistently demonstrated its commitment to innovation, sustainability, making it a key player in shaping India's path, which forms the backbone of our economy. MSMEs country also will taken a huge ambitious targets, intermediate targets.
The future is going to be in a way that this will be a qualifying criteria to do business. Right? We need to earn the right to do business, and some of the entry barriers are going to be some of these elements. Are we responsible to the environment? Create a lot of awareness through the value stream. Now, there are a lot of large corporations, maybe it's a top 100 listed company in India which is already following the BRSR reporting, or even if you're top 250, you're doing the BRSR reporting. And also, if you're a large global transnational company with the global ESG standards, there's a lot of awareness, a lot of regulatory requirements which people are following. But we also have two things: the responsibility to our supply chain partners who could be a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers, or ancillary suppliers, right from a person who supplies water to the cafeteria to somebody who supplies paper for the printer. All these are our vendors, and how do we increase the awareness of what's required in the space of ESG? When we talk about environment
and conferences, the first ever event took place in Mysuru in this year, July 2024, followed by Bengaluru in November 2024, and concluding event is planned in Bengaluru. Best practices for MSME and stakeholders. Like that, there are several initiatives, CII, energy transition, infrastructure, and many more. Assisting Credit with capacity building, new energy transition initiatives, and helping industries, including MSMEs, in the Belgaum foundry cluster become energy efficient and adopt renewable energy. We continue to introduce innovative decarbonization technologies to industries across the state. CII remains from Karnataka Electricity Utilities on energy efficiency. Globally competitive Karnataka were recognized on World Environment Day for the green initiative. ESG-driven savings achieved through energy savings, waste reduction, lower regulatory risk can be reinvested into growth areas, creating a virtuous cycle of financial and operational improvement. Let me also give a little bit of a brief about the CII's interventions in this particular important
invested 525 crores at that time, and later on, of course, it's significantly more. So that was really a profound impact. I'll come back and what it set in motion. Then the IPCC committee, Intergovernmental Program for Climate Change, IPCC. And IPCC started in 1888, but they put their fourth report, which won the Nobel Prize. If you recall that, John Elkington in the late 90s started this whole sustainability movement. And I remember that there was a time I was starting the Sangama in India, a greenfield venture. Just happened to be reading this book, and I was really influenced by this whole idea of triple bottom line. Of course, many companies do a little bit of a pea washing or a green washing, but I'm saying that I was really influenced by John's statements about what can societies do. And then, if you recall that in 2004, we had the first of the UN meeting on, which started this whole ESG. And I don't know how many of you know the title of that report? Any one of you? I know that. If you know, anybody else? How many of you know the title of the original report that started this whole ESG? Since many of you are from the ESG forum, I'm going to ask several such questions. Honourable Minister, I'm going to ask your members several questions, so just to make it more interesting and interactive, with your permission, sir. Yeah. Anybody, sir? You get it. Yeah, I think.
In the year 1987, the United Nations Frontline Commission defined sustainability as meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I want to emphasize on this line again, without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. I was wondering if you are even concerned about this all-important aspect, that is the very definition of sustainability. When we talk about progress, modernization for that matter, and all-important carbon neutral approach to every cyclic process within that model. Only when we integrate these components into the model, we work towards a future where we grow along with the safeguarding the ability of the future generation to grow while also meeting their own needs. Just the other day, I gave an important talk on climate change mitigation and the policy dialogue on climate action and monitoring here in Bengaluru, where the need for an effective action plan to combat climate change we discussed at large amongst the stakeholders and the policy makers from various governmental institutions and other organizations. Over there, all being the only chance to continue existing and having a future on this planet as a species. They weren't too off the mark either, as far as climate change is concerned, as the situation is deteriorating with each passing year, and we may soon cross the threshold of no return, after which our hands will be forced to work on these aspects any which way, but without the luxury of time on our hands. Thus, any good sustainability model of today should include a mitigation plan to combat climate change, a plan for conservation of natural resources, a plan to promote eco-friendly practices, a plan to drive innovation, a plan to encourage the adoption of best practices by all, along with the monitoring model to gauge the effectiveness of the implementation of the overall sustainability model to our society. This moment as an opportunity to lead by example, to innovate with purpose, and to build a future that is not just prosperous, but also sustainable. Together, we can make Karnataka a beacon of sustainability, a place where conservation is cherished, society is inclusive, and the economy thrives for all. All the best to all the bright minds assembled here for the summit. Thank you very much. Achieving the SDG score it has achieved is no coincidence, as various organizations have been working in tandem with the governmental institutions to achieve this remarkable feat for many years now. While industrial growth is vital for economic development of any nation, we must approach it with a sense of responsibility. The Government of India has set an ambitious target for the manufacturing sector, with enabling it to contribute 25% of the national GDP and create 100 million jobs over the next decade. However, this sort of process requires a rapid job creation and rapid industrialization. But the rapid industrialization should not come at the cost of our environment. We must balance economic growth with environmental sustainability by addressing key risks such as pollution, resource overuse, and waste management. The government is committed to creating policies that strike this balance, that is, focusing on waste management, air quality improvement, lakes rejuvenation, pollution control, etc. Also, one of our top priorities is the creation of a green ecosystem, one that ensures our natural resources continue to provide.
And Mr. N. Venu to hand it over to Mr. Sandal. May I now request Mr. Venu to hand over a token of appreciation.